I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is about the books that I've read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is the author of several books, no other than Mr. Jim Nesbitt.
How you doing, Daniel? Thanks for having me on board, and glad to be here to talk about the writing game and my latest book and anything else you want to chat about.
Yes, Mr. Jim, welcome on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yeah, I've just released my fifth hard-boiled Texas crime thriller. Features a former Dallas homicide cop named Ed Earl Burch, and this is the fifth book that he's a star of, and he's turned into a pretty durable series star. So, and I enjoy writing his stories, and he's attracted a fairly small but devoted fan base. One might call them rabid. And I live in Alabama, and to keep me out of trouble, I keep writing these crime thrillers to while away the hours.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Jim. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll give you the paper later.
Yes. So the series Pearls, or the series Pulse, Ed Earl is now on his fifth outing. For a writer, what is the unique challenge and pleasure of returning to a series protagonist? How did you keep familiar to loyal readers, yet still capable of surprising them and you?
That's a good point, because I think this book in particular, I tried to do something that I learned about with an author buddy of mine, interviewing Michael Connelly, author of the Bosch series. And he was talking about how in one of his latest books, he was trying to age his main character, Harry Bosch. And what are the challenges there, and what are the benefits? And I thought I would give that more of a whirl. I gave my main character, Ed Earl Burch, a few more of my maladies like bad knees and too many surgeries, and but at the same time, I didn't want to make him a candidate for the old folks home, because he's a pretty tough private investigator, as well as in this book, he finally gets a lawman's badge again, which has been a long time desire to be a cop once more and have that sense of higher purpose and calling that he used to have before he got kicked off the Dallas police force. So those are two elements that I had a lot of fun playing with, how to make him older and a little more rickety, but still able to chase down the bad guys and make them wince.
Make him win, and thank you for sharing to that to the world, Master Jim. So, tell us the Texas as a character. The Texas setting is a visceral in these books. The heat, the sprawl, the specific moral landscape. How does the setting of the Fatal Saving Grace actively shape the crime, the corruption, and the Birch own worn down code of ethics?
Well, I'm a firm believer that an author ought to create such a keen sense of place that the surroundings become a character unto themselves. I'm an ex-journalist, and I've always been fascinated by the land where people live and the impact the land has on them as they're trying to wrest a living out of that land. And I picked West Texas, part of the country I fell in love with as a journalist, because it's really stark, harsh, desert mountain country. And it looks like the bones of the earth have been ripped open for everybody to see. So I thought, boy, what a perfect setting for tales of revenge and redemption. And the way people react to the land that they're living on or passing through, I think helps define them. Um, you know, it's not lush greenery that you can hide in. It's wide open, and you're seen, and you can see uh, your enemies, and they can see you. And if you can survive in that territory, then you can pretty much survive anywhere.
Yes, definitely. The Saving Grace Paradox, Mr. Jim. The title Fatal Saving Grace is a classic hard-boiled contradiction. What is the saving grace in this story, and why is it fatal? Does it belong to a bird, so to a victim, or to a world he operates in?
I think the question is both, and it refers to what I've noticed in life on my own, not as a cop, but as a longtime reporter. When you bail somebody out of a tough situation, and it doesn't have to be, a shootout or anything like that, but when you do that, some people react badly toward you because you did them that favor. And in the case of Birch, he saved his boss about a decade ago. A guy named he's now the sheriff of this county in West Texas, Sheriff Sudden Doggett, from getting killed by a bad guy over in Mexico. And it wasn't a problem between the two of them as long as Birch was still back in Dallas. But when he took this cop's job to work for Doggett in West Texas, he was next to Doggett all the time, and he served as a walking, talking reminder of that night where Birch saved him, and it reminds Doggett that he was weak and had to be saved. And a lot of people don't like that. It kind of curdles their pride, and they start blaming the person that saved them. So that's kind of the personal thing that explains the title, and it could get fatal if it doesn't get resolved.
Mm-hmm. So Ed Earl is a classic archetype. The damage, the dog PI or ex cop. What is the one line in the personal code, the one rule he won't break that defines him in this book, even its downfall? Has the line shifted since book one?
Oh yeah, it not so much shifted as changes the way it manifests itself. He's a guy that he sometimes forgets his own code and has to be reminded of it. But when the chips are down, he kind of snaps back to where he needs to be and gets the job done and follows that code, which is, he has a keen sense of right and wrong by his lights. And he's going to pursue a bad guy and resolve an injustice by his own lights, no matter what it takes.
No matter what it takes. Well, let's talk about the engine of plot, Mr. Jim. Hardboiled thrillers live on the tight wire of cause and effect. Without spoilers, can you walk us through the initial spark? The wrong phone call, the unexpected body, or the sketchy client that kicks birds into emotion in this story, and why it was the perfect trigger for him specifically?
Yeah, the first tight wire he's walking is getting used to being a cop again and having to follow orders and play nice with his colleagues and show up for work every day after almost 20 years of being on his own and being a private eye and relying on nobody but himself to get the job done. And that's he's discovering that being a cop again is not everything he'd hoped it would be, and largely because his boss, Sudden Doggett, the sheriff, is really kind of acting out his increasing hatred about Burch saving his life a decade ago. So that's one dynamic and one kind of high wire that Burch has got to walk. The other is he's a cop and he's supposed to follow the rule book now, and he is chasing an Aryan Brotherhood serial killer who likes to carve up his victims with a straight edge razor, and he's also trying to protect the granddaughter of an old friend who was in the witness protection program up in Colorado, who's come back to West Texas when a gang of gunsels hired by her Dixie Mafia father. They discover her in her hiding place, and she goes to West Texas with her 4-year-old son, looking for Ed Earl and hoping he can protect her. Well, the problem is he's a cop, she's a fugitive, and he's supposed to do the right thing by the cops' lights and arrest her, but he can't do that. It's the ties that bind him, his sense of what's the right thing to do, overwhelms what he should do as a as a lawman. So those are the two kind of high wires he's walking as he tries to resolve, catch a serial killer and keep this woman safe from harm, keep this woman and her son safe from harm.
A great villain reflects the hero's flaws. What does the central adversary in the fatal saving grace show us the Birch owns weakness, obsessions, or the dark path you might have taken?
The guy, the main villain in this piece, is a really nasty piece of work named Cleve Chiswick. He's a ex-con, Aryan Brotherhood member, was a killer for the Aryan Brotherhood in prison in California, and he is somebody that Burch has crossed swords with in the past, and Burch thought he had killed him in a desert shootout 5-6 years ago. Turns out that's not the case. This guy's on kind of a revenge comeback tour. He's after the woman that Burch is trying to protect, and he's after Burch too, because Burch shot him in a desert shootout those many years ago and kind of wrecked the guy. Left him with the need to get a replacement knee, and left him blind in one eye, and he's high up on this guy's kill list. And this is a guy who likes to torture his victims and then do them in with a straight edge razor.
Mr. Jim, let's talk about the dialogue as a weapon. Hard-boiled dialogue is a signature, right? Terse, cynical, laced with threat and subtext. Can you share a line of a dialogue from the book you're particularly proud of and break down how it does triple duty, revealing character, advising plot, or establishing mood?
Well, to me, dialogue and action are the two things that drive hard-boiled fiction, and I think there's something I particularly emphasize in my books, and it's got to be witty, it's got to be short, punchy, and to the point, and hopefully it's memorable. One of my favorites is people are always underestimating me. Most of them are dead, and I'm still standing. That's pretty much sums up, Ed Earl's attitude toward life and Ed Earl's explanation for why he continues to rise above people thinking he's not as smart as he really is or as tough as he really is.
Mr. Jim, let's talk about the glimmer of light. In a such grim world, what provides the occasional or crucial glimmer of light of humanity for Birch? Is it a memory, a secondary character's decency, or a moment of unexpected beauty in Texas landscape? Why is the silver of light essential to the reader's ability to stay with him?
Well, I think the landscape is one of the lights you get. It's not all bleak. There is a kind of a harsh beauty to that land, and it's breathtaking. And when I show that to people, that contrasts with kind of the ugliness of the action. And I think also the 4-year-old boy, the woman that Birch is trying to protect, her son has moments where he shows up and says something or does something that causes the adults to pause and realize there's more to life than this grim pursuit of justice and payback.
Mr. Jim, the research grimoire. What was the piece of research for this book, specifically or a specific detail about Texas law, firearms, or investigative technique, or a local geography that you found fascinating and you had to work in this story?
Uh, what a lot of the I spent a lot of time wandering around out in West Texas, and the what I saw and what I felt and the people that I met informs all of my books, and it's really kind of a if I'm describing a scene in the Fatal Saving Grace, chances are I've walked through that very place that I'm describing, and it's it gives an air of authenticity and a foundation that of truth that what I'm writing about is something that isn't just made up off the top of my head. Um, but I think one of the things that authors are often, or writers are often told in the beginning of their career is write what you know. And I think that's horrible advice. I think, it's your starting point, but when they give that advice, they make it sound like it's the end all be all. You have to research and read and talk to people to expand on what you know because facts are your friends. And the more you know, the stronger the foundation of your writing. And it's counterintuitive, but that writing or those facts you have actually frees up your writing. You're not writing to dodge around a fact you don't know. You have that fact, and it causes your writing to spring forward and really fly.
Mr. Jim, the homage and innovations. The hard boiled tradition from the Chandler to Connolly is long. How do you pay homage to the masters while ensuring the Ed Earl and your Texas milieu feels fresh and distinctly yours? What is the convention that you love to uphold and one you enjoy subverting?
Well, you just named my poison. If you know something well, if you know the template, I think the best thing writers can do, if you've got the talent and pull it off, is to turn those expectations on their head and give people something new. It's not enough to just kind of pay homage. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm writing in a tradition, but it's a tradition I'm trying to make my own. And I'm trying not to uh, not to repeat what's already been done by the masters far better than I could do. So um, I think how you turn something on its head is you have a cop who sometimes forgets his own rules and may play on the other side of the line until he gets a notion that he really needs to deliver. Something that happens that outrages him so much that he has to, step up and fulfill his code.
So, Mr. Jim, walk us through a productive writing day when you are deep in a birch world. Does listening to a certain music, or visiting certain places, or reading a certain authors help you to lock into the specific gritty voice and pace?
Well, you touched on two things. One, in the writing itself, um, an author just needs to basically keep his butt in the chair and have a discipline about writing every day. And when you're not writing, uh, you're either editing or you're reading other good writers so you can get better. And the guys I like to read are fellow crime authors. One of my favorites right now is a gentleman named Baron Bircher, who writes marvelous contemporary westerns set out in Oregon, and um, it stars a reluctant sheriff by the name of Ty Dawson, and he has rich description of the countryside. And the guy is a rancher and is kind of in that Western tradition because he's punching cattle and riding a horse, but he's not an archaic throwback. He's living in modern times and trying to uphold um, traditional values in modern times. And it's interesting to watch him walk through life and handle a case. I get better as a writer every time I read my friend Baron Bircher's works. Uh, Guys that I've read for years. I really like the late great James Crumley, who wrote the Dancing Bear and The Last Good Kiss. Uh, he taught me that it was okay to engage in wretched excess in terms of violence and sex and uh, dialogue that had maybe a little bit too much profanity in it, um, because that was, in a way, more honest to the reader than the euphemisms that people employ to avoid being frank about such topics. Uh, and it's just he walked some of the same ground I'm walking in my books, and he had rich description and a keen sense of who his people are and where they came from that I try to put into my books.
Mr. Jim, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season, abstract poetry in a third season, and my book 101 review in sixth season as well. Comedy 101 in its third season, and food 101 in its sixth season too. Geography 101 love letters, movie 101 review, Music 101 are in fifth season, and Science 101, Sex 101, fourth season, and My Baby Podcast, Trivia 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and of course, Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Jim, what is the one piece of a craft advice about plotting, character, or dialogue that you've learned from writing the series that you wish you down before writing book one?
I think the key piece of advice is never be boring. Keep the action moving and keep the dialogue short and snappy, because those are the things that drive a good story. And that's what I try to do every time out. I'll let you be the judge of whether I succeeded.
Yes, definitely. Please do support Mr. Jim Nesbitt, because if you support him for sure, more and more empowering series like this will rise. And thank you, Mr. Jim. So
Thank you very much for having me, Daniel.
yeah, so can you please invite our listeners to support all your book series?
Please do. You can find them on Amazon, both the Kindle and paperback editions, and also available at Barnes and Noble and bookshop.org. So grab them up, have a good time with them.
Have a good time and read, people. Let's support Mr. Jim Nesbitt. So I have one more question, Mr. Jim. Without giving anything away, where do you see Ed Earl Burch after events The Fatal Saving Grace? Has this case changed him in a way that will fundamentally alter how he approached the next wrong turn down a dark Texas road?
Well, he's figured out that this having a badge again is not everything he hoped it would be, and he might just decide to turn the badge in, but we don't know yet. We'll have to wait till the next book to find out whether he goes back the way he used to be or continues being a lawman.
Yes, looking forward for that next book, Mr. Jim. Please create more books because the world's need it. So, Mr. Jim Nesbitt, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me on here.
More to come, people. See you soon.